Thanks, Kaufman is alive. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at an old comic book, Wolverine #1 by Marvel Comics. This has got a cover date of November 1988. I've got a cover by John Buscema here. John Buscema, one of the great comic book illustrators of all time. At this point, he was about in his 5th decade of work in comic books. And this is the late 80s when this came out, so we're kind of in the era of post The Dark Knight Returns. Of course, Frank Miller had already done his Wolverine miniseries, which came out before this, but this is the first issue of the ongoing Wolverine series that would last all through the 90s into the early 2000s, and really led to the resurgence of X-Men a few years later, once Jim Lee puts out his X-Men #1 with Chris Claremont writing. And we got Chris Claremont writing this issue as well, so an absolutely Hall of Fame all-star team here of John Buscema and Chris Claremont. Al Williamson also doing the inks on this issue. Some great colors as well on this cover. I really love the yellow lighting there coming off of this light source, and this hand in the background there. The lighting colors remind me a lot of that Uncanny X-Men #251 cover with Wolverine being crucified on the X here. I love the corner panel as well. Of course, you get that in this era. The moon in the background with the clouds in front of it, right behind the logo. And I love the colors on the logo too, the peach and magenta. Looks really great. Just everything about this cover is awesome. Not to mention, obviously, the pile of bodies Wolverine is standing on here. And I love the shine coming off of the claw there into just with the black background. That looks so cool. So great cover here. John Buscema, one of the all-time greats. And we got Tom Orzechowski as well, letters. Glynis Oliver doing the colors here. So definitely got to shout her out on these colors. Some great looking colors. This issue is called Sword Quest, and it is a little bit darker. This is more like an adult version of Wolverine. He's not bright and colorful like you would see in the Uncanny X-Men comics. And he's got the great black, all black costume here in these early issues too, which I just think is such an underrated look for Wolverine. I really love it. It's such an understated look, but it works perfectly for the type of character Wolverine is, especially at this point. So basically, we're on this island off the coast of Indonesia here, and these pirates have taken down this plane. They've taken hostage all of the stewardesses. They cut the head off of the captain here. Everyone thinks they're gonna die. And here on the final panel down here on the 3rd page, we see Wolverine's eyes here in the bushes for the first time. We get some narration from Wolverine 2 as well, talking about where they are, and we're kind of introduced to Wolverine in this issue as well. So if you've never read a Wolverine comic before, this is a pretty great place to start, as we just get a great introduction all throughout this issue of Wolverine and who he is, all his tactics, all of his powers. It's just a great story explaining who Wolverine is and showing exactly what he can do. So he sneaks up on the one guard here of these pirates and easily takes them out. And one of the other pirates is about to kill this stewardess here when Wolverine shows up. We just see the sninked of his claws coming out, and then the snacked of him putting the claws right into the guy's belly, but we don't actually see it. So some pretty great storytelling there with the artwork. He says some people don't deserve to die easy. Woman's scared, but not about to give up. Good for her, as she's grabbing for that sword there. So she's thanking him for saving his life. And then Wolverine says he's homing in on a specific scent. He says, finally, to this hut. A breath tells me I'm almost too late. A look confirms it. And Wolverine says, Kojima. And so this is who he was coming after here to save. It's Kojima Noburo, who is the secretary of Wolverine's love, Mariko. And he knew that he was on this flight, so that's why Wolverine came here to try and find him and make sure he was okay and find out exactly what happened when he comes upon all these pirates. They grab the girl that Wolverine had just saved. They've got her by the hair here. And we get the great double splash page. The first time we see Wolverine in this comic book for the first time, and an awesome double splash page here. Just a splash page, not a double splash page. Love that wild hair and face there. I love the text here on this page as well. He says, "Talk is cheap, bub. You want my hide? Take it if you can." And then we get the classic line here. "My name's Logan, but most people know me as Wolverine. I'm the best there is at what I do." And then after the 3 pages of ads, we get this great touch where he finishes the line and says, "But what I do best isn't very nice." So I love that touch. Some awesome stuff there. And so that's kind of the great introduction scene. We get a few pages of ads here of all these CDs that you can buy. Let's take a look at some of these, what's out at this point here. We got Dawkins, Back for the Attack. We got LL Cool J, Bigger and Deffer. Iron Maiden, Somewhere in Time. Let's see, we got some Roy Orbison, Greatest Hits, Supertramp, Breakfast in America. Let's see, Joni Mitchell, Steely Dan, Aja. Some Zeppelin here. A lot of classic stuff. Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction. That had just come out at this point. Michael Jackson, Thriller here. Got In Excess. Barbra Streisand, the Broadway album. Morrissey, Viva Hate. Cheap Trick, Lap of Luxury. Saw some Megadeth in there. Anthrax, I'm the Man. And some of the albums that were out during this time. Pretty cool. Love looking at these vintage ads. So after the first introduction scene, we just get some awesome pages here of Wolverine battling all these pirates. I love these pages because it's just one man against 100 here. And John Buscema, his work is just impeccable. I mean, some hilarious stuff here too when Wolverine is fighting all these guys and he's just got them like all up in the air here. It almost like doesn't even make sense. Reminds me of like when Jack Kirby would draw Captain America battling all the Nazis. That's exactly what this reminds me of here. I like the colors too in some of these pages. Throughout all of these panels, we're just learning through all the dialogue, the narration here about Wolverine's powers, who he is. He's a mutant. He's got a healing factor. He says he's got adamantium bones, so they're virtually unbreakable, he says. Don't know how that happened or who's responsible. Don't much care anymore. I am what I am. Too bad for these clowns. So at this point, he doesn't know about Weapon X or his origins yet. Get some more classic ads. All these great Konami games like Double Dribble, Track and Field, Castlevania. So Wolverine just continues to thrash all these pirates here. Just pages and pages. Love this panel here. Just a pile of bodies and they're all trying to jump on Wolverine like a football pile here. But he just comes out on top. That's a really cool panel. Just that pose Wolverine is in with the lake in the background too. All the little lines to show the water. He does that in the sky all throughout this issue too. I really like that. Just some amazing pencil and brush work. Again, all the lines here in the background, in the sky, that looks so great. And Wolverine coming out of the mist here. The leader of the pirates asking for Wolverine to show himself, and he holds one of the last stewardesses hostage here and puts her onto the boat. He says she won't have much longer unless you can walk on water. So long, sucker, he says. But then he gets shot from the chest by somewhere, and we see that it's the other woman from earlier in the book, and she's got a gun on the boat. She says their captain's dead, and Wolverine says he was a good man. I wish I'd been in time to save him. But in my line of work, wishes don't count for much. So then he goes to visit Kojima here as he's dying. And he says he'll get the word to Lady Mariko, tell her that you served her faithfully and well, and died a true samurai. The emphasis on samurai there. So the story could pretty much end there, but we do get kind of an epilogue here. As this is a first issue, so it's got some extra pages in here. And we finally go to Madripoor for the first time. Wolverine takes a flight there. He's learned from Kojima that these pirates are after the Muramasa blade, and it's arriving in Madripoor tomorrow. So Wolverine has to go and try and find it. And he sees this woman at the airport that he recognizes. He says that when the X-Men were in San Fran a while back, we stayed with her and her roommate, Private Eye Jessica Drew. And her name's Lindsay. So she's traveling through the airport. Wolverine bumps into her, he says, just to see if she'll recognize him, which she doesn't, and to get her scent, which is pretty clever. And we see some of these other members of this cult. We actually find out from Kojima that there's this cult. It's not just the pirates, but an entire cult that's after this Muramasa blade here. So two of the cult members are waiting in her hotel room when she gets back. They want to know what she knows, but she has no idea what they're talking about. They start emptying all of her suitcases and they grab her. And that's when Wolverine breaks into the room here. We actually get the first appearance of Patch here. Although it's not usually referred to, he's not referred to as Patch. He hasn't taken up that identity yet, but he does have the eye patch on, and he's trying to maintain a secret identity here in Madripoor. So, in essence, this is kind of the first appearance of Patch. So we get a final fight scene here between these cult members and Wolverine. He's easily able to dispose of them. He explains to the woman that he was sent by Kojima, but she says that's impossible because she just talked to Kojima yesterday when she was in San Francisco, and she says her partner Jessica is going to be bringing the blade. And Wolverine says that she's walking into her death trap. Whoever she talked to, that's who she's on her way to meet. And Wolverine lights a cigar. She says Clint Eastwood taught her how to shoot. And Wolverine has a Clint Eastwood vibe for sure. And then the back cover too has this incredible back cover by John Buscema. This is one of my favorite Wolverine illustrations ever. I love the half and half, black and white, right down the middle, and then his costume is just going into the black. You can't even make out his hands there or the other half of his mask. And we don't see him in this costume the whole issue, so it's really cool that they put it here on the back. I love the giant belt buckle too as well. Smoking a cigar, of course. This makes a great poster. This is such an important issue in the Wolverine and X-Men lore. We're introduced to the Muramasa blade, Madripoor, Patch, all these things. Just some great artwork, some excellent writing by Chris Claremont. I've been doing my Review the Age of Apocalypse series, where I've been looking at every single issue of the Age of Apocalypse, so go check out all those videos. I've got over 400 long-form videos on my channel, a bunch of shorts as well. Please like the video. If you made it this far, might as well. And go read comics.